Joining us on Author's Corner is Michael Pellegrino. The book, Crisis Equal Opportunity, Finding Growth and Resilience in Challenging Times. This book is a must read. I would love to see this in so many places in this country too, by the way. Michael has such an interesting background. He spent so much of his life in law enforcement and community service and all kinds of personal development. I mean, a 27-year career in law enforcement. Think about that in New Jersey, the things that he's seen, the things that he knows, his expertise, and now how many people he's helping, and especially as a motivational speaker and getting this book out there. So we're thrilled to have him once again on Author's Corner here on America Tonight with me, Kate Delaney. Michael, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much, Kate.
Let's talk about writing this book. What led to you deciding, we need to do this book?
Well, I always like to start off by saying it's not about me, it's about we. And our family at Resilient Minds, our subject matter experts, our docs, second to none in creating this curriculum based off of, brain science and positive psychology and all that stuff. So they really are on the forefront, our Resilient Minds family. And that really led me to want to do something for them, to be able to get what we're doing in the classrooms and as facilitators out to the people and in the masses, because we really believe that it's important to make sure when you hit that spiral that you could use the term, and we love this term coined, that we use is called catch yourself catching yourself. So when you can catch yourself in that spiral going down, and you can use one of the tools from the book to not only spiral back up, but thrive in life. That's really, really the most important part of this whole thing.
Yeah. And what did you see? And you probably, it's like I said, I mean, all that life experience. What did you see as a police officer? Things that you wish you could have turned around for somebody when we talk about this resilience and crisis?
Well, you look at things from a different perspective, and you go to a call and you go, and you're not getting called to that call because somebody wants to have dinner with you or somebody wants to give you good news. It's kind of like their life is in a little bit of a spiral right now, and you have to come and you have to get there and figure it out and do the right thing and be able to help them and be able to get them in your corner there. But more importantly, the things that you've seen, your mind is like a video recorder. It stops, it fast forwards, it rewinds, it kind of goes back into into your lizard and your puppy brain, and it brings back all those memories. And I will wake up sometimes thinking, oh my God, did that really just happen? And that was something from my past. And knowing that and be able to recognize that, I'm able to do a lot of things, and to be able to catch myself coming out of that spiral, into that spiral, and spiral back up. But the things that you see on this job, you'll never forget, Kate. And that's, I think, the part that I really, really focus on a lot, is having to work on my mind, because that's the most important part of our body.
Oh, I agree. It's that adversity, like you say, crisis equal opportunity. That's it. It equals opportunity. What was the worst thing that you saw on the job that you just had to re-rack your mind and flip that switch, like you're talking about, that spiral?
Well, motor vehicle accidents, children's deaths, the smells, fire, watching, things that happen on the job that you can't have any control over. But I think there's nothing worse than seeing a child's death. And that really puts you into a downward spiral, because even though I don't have children, I have nieces and nephews, and to me, there's nothing more important than our loved ones and our young ones as well. So that's really bothers me a lot.
Yeah. In the book, what will people find when they turn the pages? Give us a little bit of the meat of the book.
I think that the most important part is some really viable tools that you can take away, life hacks, whatever they are that you want to call them. But we like to tell people that having tools on your tool belt, because mindfulness will not work for everybody. For me, what works for me is gratitude, is having that sense of gratefulness, and how I can really take my gratitudes and turn them from a negative to a positive. Because as we've learned during this brain science, we have learned that we have that anger and joy cannot live in the same headspace. So when you're happy and joyful, you can't be angry. So being able to turn that in the neuroplasticity world, we like to say changing those habits, because we get so caught up in that vortex by going down that negative path. Our mind wants to go to the negative path, and Brene Brown said it the best. And I think the number was like 83% of the time our minds go right to the negative. And I'll give you an example of that. You get called into the boss's office. What's the first thing you're thinking of? Oh my God, what did I do? Rather than saying, what did I do great? No, you're constantly trying to think and trying to say and get away from that negative bias, and you get caught up in them negative cognitive traps as well too.
Yeah, and using all this is wonderful. And again, the book is Crisis Equal Opportunity. It equals opportunity, finding growth and resilience in challenging times. We're speaking with Michael Pellegrino. You can get the book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever great books are sold. And one of the things you and I talked about off the air is people don't need to suffer in silence anymore. And you told me the story that just a handful of years ago, you had a partner that committed suicide, and you would have had no idea about that.
Yeah. And that's, unfortunately, we have seen it so many different times and so many times on this job. And a great friend of mine, unfortunately, but again, you just don't know what people are going through behind closed doors sometimes. Sometimes we do, but sometimes it's asking those tough questions and being able to get the right answers. And sometimes we'll never get them answers, Kate, and that's the one thing that you can look at it and say, I always like to say, when you have three things working in your life that are these most important three things: your finances, your relationships, and your health, when they're going in the right direction, you're probably going to be okay. But you take one of them away, and man, life's coming to a theater near you. And if it's not at your doorstep already with those three things. So being able to identify and catch people in silence, because you just don't know what people are going through behind closed doors. And that's one of the things that we like to really say in some of the resources that we have. And one of our biggest resources is Acadia Healthcare. And they are the largest mental health and behavioral health company in the world. And we're able to use them, and they're part of our, two of their main players are a part of our team in facilitating this. So being able to have those resources, those culturally competent resources, we can do whatever we need to do to get those people the help that they need, so they don't suffer in silence anymore. Just like, my partner and anybody else who might be thinking that route is that route.
Yeah, and it's interesting you said it. I mean, your finances, your health, your relationships, and all of a sudden, I like how you put that. It's coming to you in a theater near you. Everything's fine, and then boom, you get walloped. So how do you not spiral? That's the juice of this book. That's what you talk about, that resiliency, and that's why you were the chief resilience officer. What was that like?
Well, it's everybody has different issues and problems and everything, and I think the most important part of being that peer, of being that person, is being able to be trusted. Because there's so many people that that are out there that can't be trusted. So you want to make sure that no matter what's said or no matter what's talked about, that you are a trusted individual who's respected, for what you have done. And that was one of the things that you have to develop with people. It's not something that comes overnight. But more importantly, you want to make sure that when you have those people in place, like I always wanted to be the person to help somebody. And, that was who I was, but not everybody's going to come to you if they don't trust you. So I think that was really important in my time as that, and held that position, is making sure that I was trusted. And, people would come to you. And to this day, I will die with a lot of secrets, and that's just important. But the one thing that I always prefaced it by telling them, hey, there's 3 things that, we need to make sure that we get out in front of. If you are a danger to yourself or others, then that, we have to do something about that. Or if you committed a crime, we have to be able to do something about that. Anything else we could, work around. And that was one of the things that I would always say. And we've gotten a lot of people into help and save their careers. And our Resilient Minds family is incredible when it comes to that, because it's not about doing away with the person. It's about being able to save them and save their career and save possibly their life. And unfortunately, when you're going through the storm, is not the time to change your belief system. You have to have those skills in place prior to going through the storm, because there's nothing that I could tell you when you're going through that storm to be able to change that thought process at that time.
Yeah, wow. So powerful. Again, pick this book up, go to the websites. Michael, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, Kate.